Welcome back! Buckle in and get ready for our third quarter 2021 housing market update. As always, there's a lot going on and a lot to report to you.
I can't believe we've already entered the fourth quarter of the year. But before we bring you to the trends and stats, we're going to share with you the three most interesting things we've seen in the third quarter of 2021.
Now, this is a story that we love. If you're from Denver or not, you've likely heard of the restaurant called Casa Bonita, if only for it being featured on the popular animated show South Park several years ago. Recently, South Park creators Trey Parker and Matt Stone signed an agreement in U.S. bankruptcy court to purchase the famed restaurant. A federal bankruptcy judge still must sign off on the agreement, and there's some things that are trying to be worked out, so fingers crossed. But go ahead, let your imagination take you where it wants when envisioning what they would do to bring back Casa Bonita to a new and likely crazy creative level.
Our second story, news recently broke that Sholan, a well-known modern Asian restaurant, will be opening its third location in early 2022. It will be located on the ground floor of the 12-story Lake House condo, which is at Sloan's Lake in West Denver. If you've ever had their French onion soup dumplings, you know, this is a big step for this huge area of redevelopment that once housed the St. Anthony's Hospital complex. The new redevelopment contains rental and for sale units, restaurants, an Alamo Drafthouse cinema, and more. We are excited about the Sholan announcement.
What is the third most interesting thing we've heard about in the past few months? Well, keeping with the restaurant theme, and if you live in Denver, there's a good chance you remember the White Fence Farm, a restaurant known for its farm-like setting with attractions including a petting farm, gift shop, duck pond, stage, and dining hall. Well, unfortunately that closed down in 2018 after being in business for 45 years. In its place will be a 200-unit rental apartment complex, as well as adaptive reuse of a 12,500 square foot American barn for the clubhouse. From the way it sounds, they are working to continue the legacy and theme of the original restaurant destination.
Okay, now it's time for us to dive into the trends and numbers and try to make some sense of what's happening out there. Hey Zach, what's next?
The third quarter proved to be strong with buyer activity and low days on market. At the same time, it's not quite at the levels we experienced in the first half of 2021. Are we surprised? Actually, not at all. End of summer vacations and the start of school for many proved to temper that activity, as it normally does this time of year.
Here are some numbers to back up the sustained market strength. Average days on the market? We're sitting at 13 days on market going into the fourth quarter of 2021. It's taking less than 2 weeks on average for a home to go pending here in the Denver area.
Now, on to the total number of listings on the market. You can see that's a 33% decrease from this time last year. As always, this is an important stat to focus on when looking at that consumer confidence. This number continues to hover in the low range, indicating very strong consumer confidence. Just as a point of reference, a balanced market here in Denver sees around 8,000 to 10,000 active listings at any given time.
The year-over-year price appreciation increase is 15%. Well, it's not quite as high as May's 26% appreciation from the year before, yet it's still incredibly high. Inventory remains low, as we just shared with you, and demand remains strong. So prices, well, they continue to rise. At the same time, more modest appreciation isn't a bad thing.
The final numbers we'll show you are pending sales. This indicates the current buyer activity. Total pending sales are down 5% from last year. Now keep in mind, this time last year was still very active as we had a delayed peak spring and summer season due to COVID lockdown and restrictions.
So what do these numbers and stats mean for all of us? Well, the standout piece in all of this is seasonality. In 2021, we've moved into more of a normal year in terms of the annual real estate cycle.
Typically, the first half of any given year, the overall activity is at its highest. During the summer, families are on vacation and moving. Through the third quarter, families and kids are going back to school.
Plus, people are still going on more trips. Did you see the Denver International Airport just hit top 5 busiest airports in the world?
Even with all of this, days on market were actually cut nearly in half from this time last year. Buyers are still very active and serious. Overall, showings and number of offers per property are down, yet homes are selling at a fast clip.
We love bringing you our 3 most interesting things plus quarterly housing market update. If you have any questions about the market, we're here for you.
Yep, we're still here for you. In fact, I've literally been sitting here since our last quarterly housing market update 3 months ago. Okay, well, maybe I'll go get a sandwich, but then I'll be right back. Promise.